Hey guys, Tamago here, and welcome back to the Neopets experience. So I was checking out Brightlegs' stats and figured it was time to bolster them up a bit, starting with his intelligence, because sure, he does have a diploma and he's certainly dressed the part, but he's also got to have the smarts to back it up. Now the easiest way I know of to increase your pet's intelligence is to read books to them. So far Brightlegs has read 4 books, but frankly, those are rookie numbers, so I headed to my inventory to see if I had any lying around, and luckily I did. I actually had 2 copies of Tyrants of Tyrannia that I'm pretty sure I won from Trudy's surprise, but a Neopet can only read a book once before it vanishes in a puff of smoke, so I'd have to find somewhere to put the spare copy later. I also read The Scary Truth and Bloomaroo Dance Moves to him, which I can't imagine was particularly useful considering Brightlegs is a Nemo, but hey, nothing wrong with learning about other cultures now, is there? With 3 more books down, I checked to see if there was any change to Brightlegs' intelligence level, and in fact there was. His intelligence was now bright. How fitting. But we couldn't stop there, so I headed to Neopia Central to check out the bookshop. The shopkeeper, who happened to be a fellow Nemo, had quite the selection to choose from, including one called That Is Like Such a Boring Book, so I bought it just to see what Brightlegs would think. And contrary to what the title would have you believe, he actually loved it and demanded I buy more, so I did. One of the books I bought was The Cowardly Tuscanini, and Brightlegs wasn't much of a fan of this one, saying, "That is like such a boring book." Interesting. Another update on Brightlegs' intelligence, and he was now clever. Oh, what, are you talking about my Neopet? Why thank you, I know. Brightlegs had now read 12 books, which is 12 more than I've read in the last year, and then I came across something called the Booktastic Book Award, which is given to Neopets that have read the most books from the Booktastic Bookshop. How many times am I gonna say the word book in a sentence? Anyway, I wanted to see if Brightlegs could be in the running, so I headed over to the shop and tried to buy the Krelluden Encyclopedia. The shopkeeper wanted 651 Neopoints for it, but obviously I've got to haggle my way to a lower price, so I offered him 180 instead. As expected, he lowered his price to 491, which I thought was fair, but I still saw some wiggle room for a discount, so I offered 450 Neopoints, to which the shopkeeper responded by lowering the price only slightly further to 488. So I said, okay, how's 475? He said, nah. 488. Okay, how's 480? He said nah. In fact, now it's 489. Whoa, so he's putting the price back up. Okay, if that's how you want to play it, then I'm gonna put my price back down. How's 45 Neopoints sound? He says, oh, you think you're funny, huh? Price is now 934 Neopoints. Whoa there now. Listen, I was just joking. You know I was just joking, right? Wait a minute, look. 485, that's what you wanted, right? No, 933. Well, listen, you know, I was just on a bargain hunt. It's kind of my thing, you see. Look, here's 500, that's more than what your lowest offer was. This dude said, I am not accepting any less than 933 Neopoints for this book. Bro, that's higher than the original price. So I backed out and returned to the store where the book was listed for 651 Neopoints. I tried to start again, but it didn't work. The dude still wanted 933 Neopoints for it. I felt like I was being ripped off. Now I am aware of how stupid it looks that I'm trying so hard to get a discount on this book when I have literally millions of Neopoints in the bank, but it's more of a matter of principle than anything else. So instead I opted to buy another book, which was more like an e-reader, and honestly I don't know why it was shaped like a piece of toast, but I was hoping that buying that would reset the price of the encyclopedia. And luckily it did. The price went back to normal and I was able to haggle it down again to 485 Neopoints. Wow. All of that just for a damn discount. By the end of my shopping spree, I had read Brightlegs a grand total of 31 books, and he was now a total genius. I mean, I always knew it to be true, but it's nice to see it spelled out like that. There was a slight problem though. In my haste, I ended up buying duplicates of a few books by accident, and so I had to find somewhere to put them. That's when I remembered I had actually opened up a storefront back when I wanted to get rid of those clothes Brightlegs couldn't wear. It's been a long long time since I last checked out the store, and I was pleased to see that every item I put up had been sold, apparently to someone with very deep pockets, because I listed those items up for absolutely obscene prices. Call it the opposite of a bargain bin. This was a rip-off receptacle. So in another case of the rich getting richer, my shop till now had over 1 million Neopoints in it. I think this series may be giving me a bit of an unfair advantage here. To make up for it, I decided to list each book for only 1 Neopoint apiece. So if you happen to stumble upon my store, say hey to my shopkeeper bin bag and have at it. Well, that's enough educational material for one day. It's time to get into the games. First up was Guill's Great Escape. In this one, you control a light mite and have to flap its wings to help Guill navigate the mines. You need to collect all the gems and reach the exit in order to progress through each level. There are hazards though, such as spikes, which lower his health if either Guill or his balloon bumps into them, and once he's out of lives, it's game over. This game was okay. I feel like it could have done with some background music because it felt pretty empty aside from the occasional gem sound effect. But the gameplay was fine, nothing too special, but the floating balloon mechanic was kinda interesting to play with. What I really want to know is who decided to cover every single wall of this mine with spikes? Listen, I just want to talk to him. Guill's Great Escape gets a 5 out of 10. Afterwards was Hannah and the Wardrobe of Adventure. I found the concept of this one quite interesting. You're given a mission brief and it's your job to dress Hannah appropriately for the mission. If you get at least 4 of the 5 clothing items correct, you can progress to the next level, but if not, it's game over. Some missions were easier than others to figure out the right combination for, such as the Flood and Ninja ones, but others were really just guesswork, and so I had to start over quite a few times. There are only 10 missions though, so once you know all 10 outfits, you pretty much know how to beat the game every time. I will say, the music in this game is quite nice. I almost wish they used it for a game with more replay value, although funnily enough, there is a bonus round in which the game literally just turns into Brick Breaker. Just change up the genre completely, why don't we? I thought An Adventure was okay. What wasn't okay was how much time I spent figuring out those outfit combinations, but we'll just keep that between us. I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10. Following up was Hasee Bounce, a game where you control a pair of Hasees on a seesaw as they take it in turns to jump and collect donut fruits. You also have to collect the fruits that spell out the word Hasee so you get extra time. But each Hasee can only collect the lettered fruits of their own color. This game is quite fun to play, although the sounds the Hasees make are pretty annoying. You definitely don't want to end this game with a low score. Can you shut up? It was also pretty hard to get the time bonus, since it's impossible to predict when the leaded fruits will appear, and often by the time you see them, it's too late to catch them anyway. Still, a pretty fun time nonetheless. I'm giving Hasee Bounce a 7 out of 10. After that was Hot Dog Hero. In this game, you don't play as a species of pet, or as a character within the Neopets universe. Instead, you play as a literal hot dog, and have to traverse levels using the different condiments at your disposal. Each condiment has unique properties. The ketchup is just a regular path you can walk on, the mustard provides bouncy platforms, and the mayonnaise allows you to stick to it strongly, even against gravity. In the game, you must collect the order slip with the key and then head to the door to progress through each level. There are also different enemy types that you need to avoid or eliminate by firing pickles at them, and you get a higher score if you beat the level quickly and while using the least amount of your condiments possible. Honestly, this game is great. It feels pretty fleshed out, and I could see myself playing this one for a while. Hot Dog Hero gets an 8 out of 10. Continuing with the theme of heroes, next I played Hubrid's Hero Heist. This is a platforming adventure where you play as a sorcerer's apprentice and must defeat all the enemies in each level by shrinking them down and then squishing them. There's not much more to it though. It was pretty much just created as promotional material for the Neopets card game, and I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Then we have Hungry Skeith. In this one, you move the different colored jellies into their respective chutes before the skeith eats them, while also leaving the ice cream and other food items for him. This game gave me Freaky Factory vibes, but without the depth. I wish this game could have had more going for it, but Overall, it was just a pretty uninteresting endeavor. Hungry Skeith gets a 5 out of 10. After that was Ice Cream Machine, and I just so happened to be playing it while it was the featured game of the day, meaning I'd get double the Neo points. In this one, you control a Chia and must dodge the barrage of ice cream scoops hurtling towards the top of the screen. Some scoops provide helpful power-ups such as slowing down the ice cream or placing a shield around the Chia, but others aren't helpful at all, such as the one which makes the Chia larger and therefore more likely to bump into the ice cream. This game is a lot of fun to play, and it gets increasingly difficult as you progress through each level, with the scoops moving faster and the number of them you need to dodge in each round getting higher. This is definitely one of the more addictive games on the site, and if there weren't still 150 other games for me to look at, I'd probably be returning to this one quite often. Ice Cream Machine gets an 8 out of 10. Following up, we had Elusen's Glade, but this turned out to just be another quest in the style of the Esophagus, where I'd have to buy a bunch of different items around Neopia and get a prize not even worth a fraction of the cost of the items. So I said, miss me with that. You're disqualified. Now it turns out it was a very good thing we read all those books beforehand, because the next game was Imperial Exam. In this one, you're presented with spellings of different words and have to determine if they're spelled correctly or not. If correct, then you can accept the student into the hall, but if not, you've got to turn them away. I mean, you'd think the ones spelling incorrectly would be the most in need of educating, but whatever. There are 3 levels, basic, intermediate, and advanced, each with their own word packs. And I'm not gonna lie, when it got to the advanced level, I was starting to sweat a bit. Garrulous? What the hell does that mean? Whenever you make an incorrect judgment, this dude will have a go at you. And it just makes me think, dude, if you're so good at spelling, why aren't you doing my job? Imperial Exam gets a 7 out of 10. Would feel illiterate again. Up next was Itchy Invasion. This is a first-person shooter where you've got to exterminate the bugs that are causing your pest to itch. You have to make sure to keep an eye on your ammo and not let too many bugs pass you by though, otherwise it's game over. As far as Neopets FPSs go, this one was pretty good. It didn't have the more in-depth gameplay features of Evil Fuzzles, but it did control well and with a good overall presentation. I'm giving Itchy Invasion a 7 out of 10. Next game up was Jador's Bluff, and it was another freaking fetch quest by Jolly Jugglers. In this one, you play as a pair of Chias called Jolly and Ollie, and have to make your way up a giant tree while defeating enemies along the way in order to rescue their sister. This game felt so janky to control, navigating up the tree felt awkward, and it wasn't smooth switching between each character, which was especially annoying considering you have to do it so much because they can only defeat enemies of their respective colors. Despite the name, I wasn't left particularly jolly by this one. It gets a 4 out of 10, and it also concludes the games for this episode. As I reach ever closer to my goal of playing every single game on this website, I find myself wondering, what else is in store for both me and Brightlegs? What hidden gems have we yet to discover? And what horrors would we wish we never found in the first place? Find out next time on the Neopets Experience.